You know, people ask me all the time, why do you do this? Why do you not retire and read books and write fancy academic papers? And I say, yes, that is also important. But what is more important is that I was given an opportunity to read books in the first place, to engage with ideas because of the sacrifices of ordinary people. And so part of scholarship must be given back to the people in the form of public engagement. She myself was a public scholar, what we call an activist scholar or a scholar activist, who's always trying to use the knowledge that is gained from reading books, from observing people in their communities, in their society, and giving them back, in the words of a UC Guyana, giving them back to the people as a political nourishment and by extension, cultural nourishment. That's what I'm about. It's about being that public scholar whose work is not just confined to the classroom, but that classroom is extended to the public space. I'm David.
Mr. Watts, he is armed himself. Shots, watch it, tear gas. Live rounds, also I can see that.
That's the window! The man is a boxer, man. Why can't you put in a boxer, man, to do that?
But since my cousin there, no, you come on the East Coast.
You listen to me.
Right? No, you come on the East Coast.
You listen to me now.
You gotta listen to me too, man.
I am listening to
you. Now, I see you on the East Coast. The day when they get a protest of them, the next day, that's when you see one bigger heads come up to talk to my family. Right? And that's bad. If you didn't do a protest, you want to see nobody for justice. I'm not holding back nothing. I'm not holding back nothing. I just need justice of my family.
Was here, so I would apologize to him for you. I wish Bill Clinton was here, so I would apologize to him for you black folks. Now I mean that. See, you black folks tricked him. You went in that big old black pot and said, "Here, white boy, you black." Huh? And then you went back in that black pot and said, "Here, Obama, you ain't black enough." What kind of fool is you? Huh? What kind of fool is you? Huh? You, the Ku Klux Klan did. I wish Bill Clinton was here, so I would apologize to him for you black folks. Now I mean that. See, you black folks tricked him. You went in that big old black pot and said, "Here, white boy, you black." Huh? And then you went back in that black pot and said, "Here, Obama, you ain't black enough." What kind of fool is you? Huh? What kind of fool is you? Huh? You, the Ku Klux Klan did not say Obama too white. You did. And so if Bill was here, I said, "Bill, I'm gonna apologize to you." Because black folks not only told you, but tricked you. See, I have a son, a chiropractor now, Christian. He's 8 years old. He came to me crying. He said, Dad, my brothers and sisters is laughing at me. I said, why? He said, well, I built me one of these castles, and I make like it's my house. And do you see anything wrong with that? I said, well, how old are you, boy? He said, 8 years old. I said, no, there's nothing wrong with that until you start using it as your address. So I tell Bill Clinton, ain't nothing wrong with being black as long as you're playing. But when you try to use it as your address, when you try to use it as your address, then I got some serious questions. Have you and your wife and your daughter ever been standing on a street corner in New York and a cab passed you by because you were black president? Huh? Huh? Have you ever had Chelsea pulled over by the white police because our daddy's the black president? Mr. President, do you know what it feels like to be a black person? To be a Congress lady? Huh? To be a lieutenant governor with 12 doctor's degree and driving down the street and hear the police siren and you start squeezing that steering wheel tight and they pass by you and you thank God, damn thanking God, you didn't do nothing in the first place, huh? Do you know what you did? Then you can be black, huh? Then you black, huh? Then you black. And until then, huh? Until then, huh?
Tell it, Brother Gregory.
That's what this is about. That's what this is about, huh? And then when you leave, with all the hassle, can you have that love? Love. I'm so tired of you black folk walking around looking all evil like that's gonna change something. Looking all mean and talking all crazy. Let them tell you about your children. If I sit here today, and these are all white folks, and they're putting some sleeping pill in my water, and I sit up here and doze off and go to sleep, and everybody told in the world, niggas is lazy. They tired. No, that's because you too naive enough to know what they putting in my water. Okay? Your children ain't violent because they black. They ain't violent. Most people in the world live in a ghetto. They don't kill people. What are you putting in my malt liquor, white boy? What are you putting in? Huh? Hear me. And it's your fault too. Malt liquor is made by white companies, but only sold in black neighborhoods, and you ain't checked it to see what's in it. Huh? How much lead are you putting in my neighborhood? Lead affects my thinking capacity. Lead is only one thing on the planet more dangerous than lead, and that's manganese. Manganese will make you kill your mama. And let me tell y'all something. If you want to see the largest homicide rate in the world, it ain't in no black ghetto in America. It's a little town in Australia where them white folks' homicide rate is 200 times what their population is. And that town just happened to be located across the street from a manganese plant. Here you go, Bubba. Here, right here.
Sit back down, Dick. Don't lose that mic, yeah.
That town is located across the street from a manganese plant. How much manganese are you spraying in my neighborhood at night while I'm asleep? How in the world can a 9-year-old child find a heroin man, but the FBI can't find it, and you gonna tell me that's a black thing? Y'all crazy? What is this about? And then black men, as you run off the wall and kill folks, liberate folks, and then come home and a white cop or a white racist mentality then shot your mama in the back and you got to call him. You don't call the United States government. You don't call that bad army. And black men, how can you let cops shoot your mama, your dad, and your daughter in the back and don't do nothing, but you notice they ain't never shot your car? They ain't never took a nightstick and knocked your headlights out. And black men, you should feel ashamed that you think more of your car than you do your mama, than you do your daddy, huh? These are the things that need to change while this brother and sisters on their way to the White House. And when you see Hillary and y'all see Brother Barack, thank him for me. And you white folks need to be thankful. Because if y'all had a brother like me, y'all would really be in trouble. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Gregory.
The one and only. The one and only Dick Gregory talking some sense there to us black folk. Good evening to you and welcome to Politics 101. It's a Wednesday night, and we are gathering as usual for our nightly session, wherever you're joining us from. Brother Dick Gregory asking, what kind of fool is you? What kind of fool is you? What kind of fool is you? And we black people, we are busy, in Guyana, we're not talking about who more black. We're talking about who more presidential. Who more presidential. And when those people come into our community, we treat them presidentially, some of us. And our own people, we're asking how presidential they are. How presidential they are. As Brother Dick said, he asked the question, the rhetorical question, what kind of fool is you? Welcome all of you, wherever you're joining us from. Let's hear some more from Brother Dick.
Right now, which I love, and I got to get down to some personal business, which you'll probably find out about after we leave here. I was standing back in the back waiting to come on when you had your sponsors out here. So when they came by, they passed me, and I did say something to them. And I know they're going to tell you. See, I thank the white dude from Walmart for my cousin. This past Christmas, they had prices so low, he didn't have to shoplift. Now I know they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
The brother that passed by from ExxonMobil. Now a lot of people don't know they had gift packages for us, and they had an ExxonMobil credit card for gas.
Right.
I gave him mine back because I said every time I go to Exxon and buy gas, I love water. A gallon of water costs more than a gallon of gas. Can you give me a water card?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the black brother from Wells Fargo, head of the mortgages, I pulled him over and said, I need to talk to you. He said, Brother Greg, you need a mortgage. I said, no, they took my house when times was good. No mortgage. So here's what I asked him.
Yes, sir.
I asked for a loan and a cosigner to open up a black business. I want to open up a black airline named Tamika Air. And my motto will be, we leave late, but we get you there on time. Huh? Okay? And out of all the major white airlines, we'll be the only one can say we guarantee we won't lose your luggage because you can't bring none with you. And we're going to be a good Christian airline. We ain't selling no alcohol on the plane. You bring your own, we just sell the setup. That's it. So I just wanted. That's all. Now to my mayor, Mr. Mayor. I just want you to know how bad things are. When you said Chocolate City, I had just walked in the hotel room. I was in Europe and turned on the news, and I heard you say Chocolate City. I thought you was talking about Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then I heard all the white folk complaining about you call this town Hershey, Pennsylvania. Look, all my life, they've called this town Sin City, and nobody cares. You hear me? Nobody cares. Nobody. Sin means evil, deceitful, nasty, ungodly, unspirited. When you said chocolate means love, kindness, tastes good, is good. Huh? So do color matter? Let me tell you something. I had a dream last night. Now I'm 75 years old. I dreamed I saw God. Now being 75, I said, excuse me, Mr. God. Can I have a word with you? He said, yes, my son. I said, you know, they just had a Polish pope. Will we ever get a black pope? He said, yes, my son, but not while I'm God. So, brother, don't have no problem, son. And finally, let me say this. Thank you. Thank this movement. I'm not talking about the ones we know about. Talking about the ones we don't know about. Thank God there is a God that know all the names. And because of this movement, I didn't come up in a civil rights family. Nobody teach me that. I thought everything was okay. I didn't get it at home. And when I heard it at home, I heard it from some ignorant part of you, is these redneck, uneducated, pot-belly crackers that create the problem. And at 9 years old, I say, since when that type of white boy determined public policy? My problems with the president of Harvard, and Yale, and MIT, and the major corporations, until we leave this little daddy boy alone, we will never deal with it. And so again, I say, where I am from this movement, it gave me a turtle philosophy after looking at that black woman I'm married to and being part of this movement. I am the turtle, hard on the outside, soft on the inside, and willing to stick your neck out. That's what it's about. Huh? That's what it's about. Huh? That's what it's about. And all of us in this movement, I I come up as a black man thinking hard on the inside, hard on the outside, but I wasn't hard on nobody but black folks. And looking at my wife deal with 10 black children with softness, that I became soft, the inside. And finally, let me just say this. I'm tired of people talking about this election from the standpoint of fear. Fear and God do not occupy the same space. Huh?
That's right. That's right.
Listen. I don't want nobody to tell me and tell my grandchildren to go to the polls and vote against something. That's ungodly. With the beauty of this country and all the things we got to vote for, you don't have to tell me about Bush. When I see him on TV, I say to my grandchildren, if he was alive, he'd be a sick man. But my mama was so busy teaching me about the devil, I'm a grown man before I found out the beauty of God. Huh? I don't need to talk about the filth. The filth speaks for itself. For itself. And I say thanks to the two most powerful folks in the history of America, the black woman and the black church. That's, and I never knew how smart that black woman was. Till I look at my wife Lily, and that didn't make it. It was when Kobe Bryant got in that mess. You remember? They accused Kobe Bryant of raping a white woman, and he went home and bought his wife a $4 million diamond ring. Let me tell you something. If a white woman accused me of raping her, and I go and give my wife a $4 million diamond ring, she'll go get 2 more white women. Y'all heard me, right? Because she got enough sense. She got enough sense to know wherever that ring came from, there's a matching necklace and bracelet.
Dick Gregory.
Now, let me say this. All we said here, what needs to be said, we think an illegitimate child is a child that don't know where their daddy is. America is an illegitimate child because she has no mother. And this is what the problem is. If I work in a coal mine, in a steel mill, and I come here today and put on a suit but don't take a bath, you got stink sitting up here with you. And what has happened to America, we ain't never cleaned up the filth over 400 years. We just put a new suit on and a new dress on and then wonder who's stinking. It's you the one that's stinking. That's what this is. And until we clean this out, until we clean it up, my mama used to grab me and wash my face. America ain't got no mama that's washing her face. She'd pick my nose when it need to be opened up. She'd look in my ears. All we do is we went from this filth we was in to putting on some new clothes, and nobody has said, hey, somewhere we got to apologize. First to black women. White women's okay, but that black woman went through racist white system and sexist black me. And we ain't never said what you've been through. And in spite of that, look at that black woman. Look at Kathy Hughes. She didn't have the privilege of a ladies' movement when she's putting that empire together. Look at Dorothy Height, huh? Look at all these women that have come through, the late Dolores Tucker. Look at what's going on now with Ife Williams talking about Sojourner Truth, and we will have that statue in the White House. Our women, if you think this sister just a politician, what she had to go through to get there, cause she was a woman. And we have never slowed up and said, thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until we do that, until we're able to do that, I look at Dr. Condoleezza Rice. Hear me. And we tolerate it. She has more PhDs than the president's whole cabinet. Huh? Huh? Hear me. And you hear me too, black folks. They call her Condi, but they never call Madeleine Albright's Maddie, never call Janet Reno Janny. Huh? Okay?
That's all right.
They call Henry Kissinger Dr. Henry Kissinger. And let me tell you, she don't see nothing wrong with it. Let me tell you something. They got a soda pop in America. Blacker than her, they call Dr. Pepper. Huh? Huh? Dr. Pepper. Huh? Lady. Huh? And if you go to the store today when you leave here and don't ask for it by its full title, say, give me a pepper, they'll give you a chili pepper.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Dick Gregory, political activist, comedian. I wish our young comedian, our young artist, take a leaf from the book of Dick Gregory, a real legend, paying tribute to our women, paying tribute to our black women, and we must not be afraid. See, in this country, black people are afraid to say black and afraid to say black is beautiful. We have to do that. We have to do that. We pay tribute tonight to our black women who are always on the front line of our struggles, always on the front line of our struggles. And we don't often, Dick Gregory's right, we don't often stop to say thanks. The people on the other side get vexed with me when I say my auntie send me to school because they miss what I am saying. They miss what I'm saying. The sacrifices of our mothers, our fathers were there, some of them weren't there, but it didn't matter because our mothers, our aunts, our grandmothers took care of business. So when I say my auntie send me to school, I'm making a bigger point that those on the other side cannot understand. You see, if you're in a live house, you don't know where you leak. I am glad to be black. I'm glad to be African, and nobody will stop me from saying that. And I want you all to say that every day. It's good to be black. It's good to be African. It's good to be African Guyanese. Of course, you are more than that. You're a woman, you're a man, you're young, you're middle-aged, you're Guyanese, you're West Indian. You have several identities. But the one that the world judge you by primarily is your black African identity. The world makes a judgment of you. You walk in to a room and they judge you. You put on a hoodie if you're a young black boy and you walk the street at 12 o'clock in the night, you are judged. You're called a criminal. People cross the street. They don't want to be where you are. The world judges you primarily, not only, but primarily because you are black. I say to you all here every day, every night, because it is obvious. It is by no accident that the homes that this government, the places that this government goes to and mow their homes down, they're doing it on East Bank right now, Sarah Joanna. The places they go to do that are black communities. It is not an accident. They've made a judgment. Racism is a judgment on black people. It is no accident that the police that is known for being trigger happy is trigger happiest when it comes to black people. No accident. No accident. When last you hear a big boy spit in the face of an Indian girl, it's no accident that people feel they can spit in the face of African women. When last you look up and you see an Indian community mourning for their sons that were shot down by the police. It's no accident that this is happening in the black community. And this government, which is not a black government, feels that it can do it and get away because some of us black people, we look the other way. Some of us engage in criticism of our black self, and nothing is wrong with that. Black people, like other people, get out the line and you have to criticize them. Some people don't want to talk about slavery. And everything we experience today is a consequence of those 400 years of enslavement. Black people, I love you all. And I want you all to love yourself. Love yourself. Because nobody in the world will love you if you do not love yourself. The government of Guyana is engaged in institutional racism. Institutional racism. When you feel you can call some little black boys together and say, instead of, first of all, you criminalize them, then you call them and say, instead of sending you to jail, I'm going to give you a contract in Sophia for $1.5 million. And then unsuspectingly, the boy take the $1.5 million only to find out that that contract of $1.5 million, he got to pay out $1 million to workers and buying products and materials. And at the end of the day, he's just taking home $200,000, $300,000. That is racism. Because the PPP dare not do that to Indian young men and women. Look at the way they're treating teachers. Do you believe that they're brutalizing teachers because they're teachers? I don't think the PPP hate teachers. They don't. I don't think so. But they're beating up on our teachers. They're hating on our teachers because they're predominantly black. Because they're beating up black people, they're hating black people. And we have to lift our voices and let our people know you are being beaten up because you are black primarily. If you were being beaten up because you're youth, then Indian young people would have been beaten up. But Indian young people are not being beaten up. I don't want them to be beaten up. But I am saying I also don't want black people to be beaten up. We got to get over this nonsense. And we have to recognize that in this country, first and foremost, if you're African, you live or die because of your African self. That is the judgment this government has made of black people. Do you see the PNC running into Indian communities and trying to raid Indian people? They will not be allowed to do that. But the PPP government feel that they can get 2 or 3 or 4 black ministers and send them in the black community to be our role models. How can you be a role model for black people, for African people, and you sit in a government that is beating up black people and you say nothing, you do nothing, you are an enabler of it? Often who is it they send to lick down those houses? Under the guise of doing my job, you got to go and lick down the house of your mother, your auntie. The policeman got to shoot the little nephew under the guise that I'm doing my job. They got Indian policemen. Do you see they're going into Indian communities and shooting up Indian little boys? What kind of fool is you? Asked Brother Dick Gregory. We got to start getting sense in this country. That's where I want to start off tonight. You have to recognize your identity is an obstacle towards equality and equity in this country. They want to get you out of the way. They want to covet, to thief all the resources. And the people who are going to cry out the loudest is African Guyanese. And so they want to silence you. Indians will cry out, but they will cry out quietly, out of fear. But Africans will cry out loudly, so they have to shut your mouth. And the worst thing you can do is to be complicit in your oppression. And some of us Black people engage in that nonsense. There is going to come a time in the Black community when we have to manage such Black people. Manage them. We are a caring people, an understanding people, and we don't engage in certain kinds of behavior. But at some point, those who are allowing themselves to be used to go into Black communities and to destroy our communities, we'll have to manage them. And there are very many ways of managing them. Very many ways of managing them. There's nothing like shame. When you shame them, and there are very many ways of shaming them. We must not at all be complicit in our oppression. Comrades, friends sometimes call me David. Talk about young people, encourage the young people, the youth, encourage the working class. And of course, youth, young people make up the majority of this population. But some of those young people are being treated better than others. Some young people are being criminalized. Black young people are being criminalized. We have to speak up and speak out. We have to let the world know that we are hurting. Racism is not an individual construct. All of us are prejudiced as human beings. We are prejudiced. Some people don't like black-skinned people, dark-skinned people, that's their business. So long as you don't get in my way, you don't like me, that's your business. But when you use power at your disposal to discriminate against me because I am Black, that is more than prejudice. That becomes racism. Prejudice is an individual construct. We're all prejudiced in one way or the other. Some of y'all ladies say you all don't like short men. You all are prejudiced against short men. Some men say they don't like wear pink. You're prejudiced against pink. Prejudice is an individual construct. So if you look at me because I'm Black and say you don't like Black men or you don't like dark-skinned Black men, that's your business. But when you are going to use your power of government, your power in the institutions to discriminate against me, then you are turning your prejudices into racism. I don't business if Jack Dio is a racist. In his personal capacity, I don't have to deal with it. I don't care if Irfan don't like Black people. That's his business. But Jack Dio and Irfan are in charge of the most powerful institution in our country, and that is the government. And so they are using the government to carry out their own prejudices maybe, or the prejudice of people around them. The decision to demolish homes in Black community cannot be an accidental decision. If you're demolishing poor people homes, then go demolish poor people homes in all communities. But oh no, you're demolishing poor people homes in African communities. This is a racist government that practices institutional racism every single day, every single hour of the day. And we must say it for what it is. Nobody can be more Marxist than me. I grew up on working class ideology. Marx, critique of capitalism and the working class and the working class. I grew up on that. I studied it. I was a political activist of it and still is. I still believe the working class is being crushed in this country. But this government has not declared war on the working class. It has declared war on African people. And the African working class suffers the most because they are the least defense. They have the least defense. They are the most defenseless. You can't watch me and give sugar workers $250,000 grant money and then turn to teachers who are as productive as sugar workers and tell them you're giving them 6% of $100,000. It is for that reason that Black people have to make a decision. And the decision we make has to be a clear decision. We have to remove this government from office. We have to remove the PPP government from office for our own safety. For our own safety, the safety of our children. Because our children are not safe in Guyana. The Black boy is likely to end up in police custody before he is 16, many more times than the Indian boy or even the Amerindian boy. That's a fact. Our children are in danger. Our women are in danger. I walk the road. I grew up as a small boy. Indian men used to respect Black women. Now you walk down the road and by lashing Black women BT and the skin in the teeth. Watch, by what? Bam. I pass over women. And sometimes the Black men serve as scouts, going and get Black women for Indian men of power. It goes on in the ministries. Black men working in ministry, going and procure young Indian girls, young Black girls for the Indian bosses. It goes on in our ministries. It's an assault on Black womanhood. Assault. And for a lot of those Indian powerful men, is what they call payback. One of them tell me, he said, David, when me been a grow up, me used to see Black man a there with Indian woman. And now, are we just get the money? Are we just get the power? Are we torn now? We have to speak the truth in this country. And I'm saying that I don't want to see our women to continue to be disrespected in that way. And the only way we can stop that, or well, not the only way, but one of the ways we can stop it, is that we have to remove that sense of invincibility from those men, especially Indian Guyanese powerful men. I'm not talking about the average Indian man. I'm talking about Indian men with money and power who use it to turn our women into female slaves, sex slaves. And we black people know it. Our black leaders know it and don't say anything. This government must go. It has to go. That must be our pledge. Elections are around the corner. They've left us with elections as the only choice of removing governments. The world changes. The world changes, and we have to take this election seriously. We have to take it seriously. We can't play around with this election that's coming up. And the first thing we have to do, if we're going to take the election seriously, is to make sure that the rules are fair for everybody. We have to demand it. This is not something we beg for. You tell us you have democracy. You tell us election is the way to go. And so therefore you have a responsibility to make election fair, free, and free from fear. We have to take this coming election seriously. Every black woman, man, young person must go and register. And I said this morning, sometimes we political people sit back and say, go and register. No. When I first got to America on the college campus, I remember people like Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, and Jesse Jackson and them would come on campus and they would ask you right there, how many of you are not registered? They register you right there. See, our people wake up in the morning. A poor woman gets up in the morning. The first thing she's doing is she's trying, what she gonna get, she picking them for breakfast. She gotta get them ready to school, for school. She gotta fix their breakfast, comb their hair. If they're little, she gotta brush their teeth and get them off to school. And then she gotta go to work. Whether she's working in the home as a homemaker or she's working outside the home. She doesn't have much time to think about registering and so on. It is we, the activists, who have to think about that and to persuade that woman to take some time and go and register. The turnout among the black community in the last 3 elections never got to 80%. It's somewhere between 70 and 80. And I'm saying we have to up that turnout because the turnout among Indian Guyanese is in the 80s. And we have to get our turnout to the polls among Africans up to that number, 80s, in the 80s, 90s possibly. In the United States, the hardest people, research has shown, and I think it's true for Guyana, the hardest people to get to register and to go and vote are black people, young people, and working class people. But studies have shown that once black people are registered and they start to vote, they become the most reliable voting segment of the population. So we have to pass the first couple of hurdles to get our people to register and to get them to vote. And that is why we need activists. Not everybody will hold a placard. Not everybody will come on to Politics 101 or Mark Benchop or any of these shows. But as an activist, you can find out who are not registered in your street and give us that information so that we can go and get them to be registered. That is activism. How many people in your street are not registered? How many people in your family are not registered? How many people in your friend circle are not registered? If you got 2 girlfriends or 3 girlfriends, all of them registered? Well, I have to be fair and say if you get 2 by friend or 3 by friend, all them register? Activism means that those of us who are conscious, those of us who have the time, those of us who are activists, we have to do activist work. And as I've been saying, the quarrels and conversations we're having, while there's some merit in it, I think it's misguided. What Nigel Hughes bring to the table, what WPA and David Hines bring to the table. What table? Do we have a table? You have to have a table before you can talk about bringing something. And the table has to be our plan. How do we plan on winning this election? The corporate leader is 1 vote. We have to get the multitude of people to be registered. The multitude of our people. That's how you win election. What is our plan? Some people say, somebody said this morning, let David Hines and WPA go along with the AFC and farm their own thing. The PNC gonna go by themselves. Brother Dick Gregory would ask, what kind of fool is you? We've got to recognize where we are at the crossroads. And we got to act differently. Nobody must take away your choice of leader. Nobody must take that away. If the person you like best is Brother Aubrey, nobody must take that away from you. If the person you like best is Brother Nigel, nobody must take that away from you. But in making the argument for Aubrey, don't pull down Nigel. In making the argument for Nigel, don't pull down Aubrey. It's as simple as that. That's what if you don't like Aubrey or Nigel as your first choice, and you want to go, as they say, think outside the box, and for example, you say, well, I like David Hines, I don't mind it, I welcome it. And I want you all to say it loud and clear. But in the process of doing so, do not pull down the other 2 brothers. Leave yourself space. I'm an old, you may say. I'm an old PNCite. I love Aubrey Norton. You may say. But if you bad talk Nigel, or you bad talk David Hines, then your children who may not have the same kind of fidelity to the PNC, and so therefore are not crazy about Aubrey as you. If you abuse David Hines and you abuse Aubrey Norton to Nigel used to big up Aubrey, then you are saying to your children, the two of them not fit. And if you don't like Aubrey, then you either stay home and don't vote, or you go and vote for them develop on the other side. But if you say we got a good team, we got Aubrey, we got Nigel, we got David, we got Amanza, we got Risedale Ford, we got Kidaki, we got brother Duncan Sherrod. But Aubrey's me by. Then you leave it open for your rest of your family who don't believe that Aubrey is thereby to choose a boy or a girl from the rest that left. Do not muddy your people. Do not muddy your people. We are a matured people. We should be able to state our preferences without cussing down the other side. So, nobody's taking away your right to choose who you feel should be the standard bearer. Nobody's taking. In fact, I want you to scream to the heavens. Let Jack D and them know you're for Aubrey, or you're for Nigel, or you're for David, you're for Amanza, you're for Roysdale, you're for Sherrod, you're for Kidaki, you're for Takumo Gunse. Let them know. Let them know who you're for. Because you see what Jack Dio does. Nigel announced, before Nigel announced, he all over Aubrey, cussing Aubrey left, right, and center. Then when Nigel announced, he realized, oh Jesus, what Aubrey and pulling, Nigel could put. He start now cuss Nigel. And he's always leaving a 5 minutes to cuss the WPA. They're extremists. They don't do nothing for black people. They're racist. All they talk about is race. Well, leave us alone if we are not threat to you. But you know damn well, when we talk about race, we are giving our people racial consciousness and racial pride. And you know what? You know how powerful that is. So you all shout and let them know your preferences. But don't lick down those who you do not prefer at the top of the team, Don't lick them down. Don't bloody them. Each of us must be able to stand and say our people are behind us. And I tell the story of them big women, mostly, and men too, in the village Buxton, who whisper in my ears, they're wrong to Norton. They're wrong to Norton. They're wrong what they did to Norton. Give the man a chance. And when they done said her, they said, David, I want to vote for you before me dead. Nuance. What Professor Netterford called chaos in order and order in chaos. Only we could express ourselves like that. Or the younger people, most of whom are telling me, David, Nigel is a good man. Nigel is a good man. Some young people in the village telling me now, Nigel is a good man. But you is the right man for them. You David will be all the time. Nuance. 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 In one community, you have an expression of confidence for 3 of our top candidates. And we at the top saying we want one and lick the others down. People have met me, shake me hand. They said, David, you know what you did? I said, what did? Because when black people tell you, you know what you do, you say, oh, Jesus Christ, you're in trouble. Say you bring together all the candidates on your platform. And one man tell me, David, I know it's not by accident. No, it was not by accident. I wanted to be an example to our people of how we can share. I open my platform to two other parties, that they can come and make their case. All of we are one family. Nation where them there. Nation where them there. All of we are one generation. Tanzania, Mozambique, and Zambia, all of we are one generation. As I said, on the opposition side, we got two levels. Two levels. We got the African level, who make up the majority of the opposition base. And then we have the opposition level that include our sisters and brothers of other ethnic groups. Both levels are important. We can't win with one. We got to win with both. We have to win with both. We need Amerindian votes. We're not going to win if we don't get at least 40% of the Amerindian votes. We need whatever smattering of Indian votes that's going to come our way. But we recognize we have to work hardest for that vote. And so we can't put our eggs in one basket. But that doesn't mean that the big basket, we must put most of our eggs in the big basket, which is the African basket. We put most of our eggs there because that's where most of our votes will come from. So we're not putting all our eggs in one basket, but we're putting most of our eggs in the big basket, the basket that we are more sure about. See, I'm not afraid to talk race. I'm not afraid to talk race because our voting patterns are racial. We vote along racial lines. That's a fact. And don't let anybody feel Guyana is the only place. Every country in the world, people vote along race. In the great American democracy, 60% of white people vote for the Republicans. 40% vote for the Democrats. They have something called the Southern Strategy, which is to run up the votes in the white Southern states and split the white vote in the Northern states. So you don't need Hispanic votes, you don't need African votes. And what Obama did was to come up with the Obama strategy. That is to run up the votes in the Hispanic community, run up the votes in the African community, and take 40% of the white vote. What is our strategy? What is our strategy? I am saying, run up the vote among your base. Aim to get over 90% turnout. That's your insurance. Then you hold on to your share of the Amerindian votes. And you put our Indian sisters and brothers. I don't want to see Ganesh talking in Buxton. Let Ganesh go in the Indian community. Let Ubraj go in the Indian community and fight like a tiger. Let Kemraj go in the Indian community and fight like a tiger to bring Indian votes to us. Let the Amerindian leaders go among the Amerindians. But you know what the strategy in the past used to be? Put Ganesh or Ubraj to talk in Plaisance. All the Plaisance people do is to cheer when he speaks because they're done. They don't need Ganesh to inspire them to vote. They don't need Ubraj. Ubraj and Ganesh and the other Indian comrades must go in the Indian community and bring votes to us. Bring votes to the opposition. What is your strategy, opposition? WPA has put on the table that as we prepare for the elections, we must fight. We must fight for a clean voters list. We must fight for biometrics. With biometrics, we know at least 2 seats that the PPP got the last time. They will be denied. With a clean voters list, we are taking away over 200,000 names that are there for them to put their dirty, grubby hands on. We are taking that away from them. We are reducing the number of votes there that they can thief. Clean voters list. And we can only do that by households registration, which they started in 2020 and then they stop at certain point. And then very importantly, the crooks that the PPP has put at GCOM, the staff, the computer people them that they put there, and all the others, because at the end of the day, the thieving has to be verified by GCOM. GCOM is yet to tell us about the 47 boxes on the East Coast. And we have to have the kind of staff in GCOM that if you turn in a box without statutory document, that box must not count. The law is the law. You must have statutory documents. But we have to have a chair and the staff at GCOM who is going to be dispassionate and fair. So we have to fight for a clean staff at GCOM, a clean voters list, and biometrics. Those 47 boxes are equivalent to 2 seats. Theoretically, the PPP robbed 2 seats. They robbed another 2 with people who weren't in the country and voted. And those Spanish people, or the immigrant population that the PPP is trying to use, they expect to get about 2-3 seats from them. We have to find a way to block that. But more than that, we have to get a share of that immigrant vote, which means we have to have a strategy for the immigrant community. Where is your plan? We don't have to convince our supporters that no one party can win this election on our own. No one party. No one party. Our base will be more energized when they see all their servants in the team. The person who don't like David Hinds would not stay away, because he or she will look and see Amanza, look and see Roysdale, look and see Nigel Hughes, look and see Aubrey Norton. The person's not enthused by Aubrey Norton. If it's Aubrey Norton alone, they suck their teeth and stay home. But if they look around and they see Nigel and they see David and see Amanza, see Sherrod and Roysdale and all the others, Kidaki, all the others, Ogunse, all the others, Kati Hughes, all the others, when they look around and they see others, they will be enthused to go out. Those who like Nigel, those who don't like Nigel as the top man, will not be disheartened, because when they look around and they see the others, they will have a choice. You see, it's not just about our people going and vote for the PPP. The PPP knows damn well. And the PPP objective is not to steal our votes, it's to suppress our votes. To drunk our people with small money. And when you drunk them, they said to hell with them, they ain't do nothing for we, and they stand home. A stay-home vote is equivalent to a vote for the PPP. And the PPP is trying to suppress our voters by putting in their head that the rest, oh, don't worry, David Hines, they may been in power, that he didn't do nothing for black people. They had cushy job, they had this, they had that. Sisters and brothers, we have to be, this is the time when we need to be more serious. This election is life and death. Life and death for black people. You are the most vulnerable under this government. And you all have to treat it that way. We have 1,576 of you here tonight. 1,576 of you here tonight. Each of you must become an activist. We need our people to register and to be ready to vote. We need our people to lift their voices and to put their energies towards getting a free and fair system. Activism is not just boots on the ground with placard in hand. It is also boots on the ground in your community. Boots on the ground in your street. In my village, at the last election, they tell me, well, look, when we go for register this by your runway, because he can't read and write properly. I say, all right, you tell me. He's less likely to run away when he see me. And we go and we talk to him and get him to register. That is activism. Sisters and brothers, we have to get serious. And I know we are already serious. But I want us to cool down the temperature in this cussing out. I don't like it. If you cussing, cuss the PPP. I don't want to hear about Nigel Hughes' conflict of interest. The biggest conflict of interest is the PPP conflict of interest. They are in government. They are in power. They are in government. They are in power. They got conflict of interest. Nigel Hughes has no conflict of interest. Does Nigel have questions to answer? Does he have explanations? Yes, he does. But he ain't got no conflict of interest. He has potential conflict of interest. Do not beat Bush for the PPP. Do not beat Bush for the PPP. And get Jack Dio talking about Nigel use conflict of interest when that man sit on the who is Sue? Or Sue? He live at my place. What the hell Sue living at your place? And coming and talking to you about business and so on. You're the vice president. And you should go and bag your face rather than telling people about conflict of interest. And some of you all black people, some of you all opposition people repeating that nonsense. You all know all them big guest house. You all know who own them. And it's Exxon people paying big money for living them place. Conflict of interest? Conflict of interest? Give me a break. Give me a break. And I'm saying to you all, opposition people, cut it out. Cut it out. You can disapprove of Nigel without cussing him. You can disapprove of Aubrey without pulling it down and cussing him. This is serious time. So let's go. The campaign has begun. The campaign to ensure clean elections and the preparation in anticipation of those clean elections. There is speculation that they may want to call the election earlier than November. We gotta be ready. First of all, we must not readily agree to no election where they do not address the fairness of the system. That's the first line of business. And all them white people who've been here 2020 and pronounce and say, oh, the PPP win. And what they see at Ashmin and what they didn't see, they have a responsibility to make sure that the damn system is fair. Because they have saddled us with this goldie that we get for government. They saddle us with it. But you're not going to get the white people to move if you don't move. That is why we need an all-opposition movement for free and fair elections that go to our people and engage our people. We are making fun. We're not letting it pass. We don't want an election that will end in trouble. We want an election that will end as a victory for all Guyanese. Win, lose, or draw. But we on our side, we know we got to win in order to take their knees off black people back, and in many cases, off black people belly. So, work to be done. Each of you must become an activist. Each of you must become an activist. Stop the blah, 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 blah. Ja, 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 ja. Nigel use this. And what David I bring to the table, I bring a presidential material. And you stop them kind of rank talk. Because you are weakening our results when you do that. And I am confident that you all will take Ms. Trumpet's advice and let us do this thing together. 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 We have a strong team. Anybody is capable of becoming the captain of this team. anybody, any one of the big names can be an effective captain. But what we must recognize is that we have a strong team. Thank you all very much for staying with me another night. And tomorrow night, we come back warring again, because this is a political war that we are part of. Make no bones about it. This is a political war that we are in. In many regards, we are answering and responding to the war that has been declared on us. But we are in a war. See you all tomorrow night. I have friends tomorrow night. So let not your heart be troubled.